All right, here we go. All right, welcome, John. How's Florida feeling these days?
Hot.
Awesome, awesome. We've got Carolyn and Carol here in studio with us, and then of course the YouTube audience joining us from the interwebs. Hello, everybody. If you haven't been here before, Pain-Free Movement Monday. This is our free 7 movements movement session we do every week at this time. It's going to be 21 minutes of movement with John. So that's 3 7-minute movement snacks. He's going to walk you through that. And then we have a little bit of time at the end of the call to answer any questions that might pop into your head while we're doing this. John, I'll let you take it away and get everybody moving.
Cool. So everyone, we're gonna do, as Dan said, three different little movement snacks. The first one's gonna be on circulation mobility. Then the second one's gonna do some activation and integrated motion. So some typical exercise. And then the third thing we're gonna do is a little bit of recovery and some stretching and stuff. So the first thing we're gonna have you start to do is we're gonna drive some circulation to some key areas of the body. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the neck, then we're going to go into the shoulders, then we're going to go into the hips. So let me start my clock right here so I can keep myself on track. And the first thing we'll do is take your fingertips, put it behind your head, and we're just going to scrub the back of the skull. So a lot of the connective tissues that originate at the bottom of the foot attach to this point right here and finish at the eyebrow. We call it superficial back line. So we're going to use a little bit of friction to drive some fluid directly to the back of the skull. This is a big anchor point for the shoulders and obviously for the cervical spine. So we scrub that around the back of the head. Okay, then we're going to go to the collarbone. So you're going to take, as though your collarbone was a shelf, we're going to dust the top of that shelf off. Back and forth, create a little friction and heat. That friction and heat will drive some fluid to the area. Okay, then we'll go to the other side. To my other hand. Into the top surface of that collarbone. Okay, and then let's go to the point of the collarbone. Which ends right at the point of your shoulder. Take your palm, rub on top of that point. You can go side to side, you can go up and down. Okay, to the other side. Great. Now we're going to go to the sternum. Take both your knuckles and you're going to rake up and down, or your thumbs. Rake up and down on the sternum bone. Okay, let's take your palm. You're going to get into the rib cage. Scrub up and down on the ribs. Let me go to the other side. Move that skin across the rib cage. We can go side to side. You can go up and down. Do a circle if you like. Okay, and we're going to go to the lower back. You take your knuckles, put it on your lower back and the lower part of the pelvis. Scrub up and down. Go across it. Down. Across it. Get right onto the SI joint. So the sacrum bones trace like that. You get right on the seams of the sacrum. Okay, and we're going to get onto the outside bones on the hips. So you slide your hands down the outside of your thigh, you'll feel a little ridge there, a little protuberance, it's called. It's called the greater trochanter. So we're going to rub that bone straight up and down. Okay, now we've driven a little bit of circulation into some of these key anchor points. Let's mobilize a little bit. So let's have one foot further forward than the other. This down just a tiny bit more so you can see my feet. Here we go. So we're gonna have one foot further forward than the other, and your hips are gonna slide left to right. We're gonna mobilize the pelvis in 3 planes of motion and then mobilize the spine in 3 planes of motion. And then we'll do a little bit of exercise involving the hips and the back. Okay, put the other foot forward, same thing. Nice and slow, just glide the hips left to right. Okay, then we're gonna do it again. This time, so I got 1 foot further forward than the other. I'm gonna rotate the body. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Feel all those bones in the feet rotate. You rotate your torso. Okay, and the other side. Think nice tall posture. Tall through the shoulders. Long through the spine. Okay, and then one more time. So we're gonna have the opposite leg further forward. Just gonna reach your hips back and forward. Leaning back a little bit, leaning forward a little bit. Okay, other foot forward. Hips go back, goes forward, goes back, it goes forward. Same tempo. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast, as they say. Okay, so now that we've done the pelvis mobilized, we're going to do the same idea for the thoracic spine, middle part of your back. We'll think of like just above your belly button, all the way up to your collarbones. We're going to go with a little wider than hip width stance. From here, you're just going to rotate the shoulders. Let your eyes go with your trunk or your torso. Okay, and we're going to do side flexion. So our hands are going to be kind of at shoulders, and we're just going to tilt side to side as though you're pouring water out of your ears. So this creates side flexion in the thoracic spine. Okay, and then we're going to do a roll forward. So you feel your thoracic spine kind of curving like a turtle. And then you're going to come up, unwind it, extend towards the ceiling. And again. And unwind. So you get a little bit of flexion and extension in that thoracic spine. Great. And then one more we're going to do is a little bit of a combo. You take one hand, reach it under as though someone's handing you a bowl of soup. You take your hand this way, and at the same time, you're going to take your opposite side arm and bend as though you're reaching over your ear. Okay, so take that. So we got 1 foot further forward than the other. Reaching one hand under as the other one comes over my ear. It's called type 1 rotation of the spine. And we're getting rotation and side flexion combining together. So same thing here. Boom. Okay, so for this next one, we're going to add a variety of different reaches at the same time as doing what we call a squat or a fold of the body. So let's go 1 foot further forward than the other. This trail foot is going to be about the length of the ankle behind you. All we're going to do is we're going to sit and reach. Sit and reach. So if you wanted to have your chair with you for a little bit of security or safety, you have one hand on the chair. Take the other hand, you're just going to reach forward as you squat. Then we'll do the other side. Bring my chair to the other side of my body. Okay. Going back to the other side, this time we're going to change where we reach. You're still going vertical. We're going to reach out to the side now. Okay, so as I reach to the side, I'm going to side flex my spine and get my bum moving in the opposite direction of my hand. All as I pull. So little combinations, sharing the load in the body, creating a little bit of movement variability, and connecting and integrating all the joints of the body in this one task. Okay, going to the other side. You ever feel like, oh, I don't really know if I can go that far? Just shrink your bubble. It means don't reach quite as far. And if you're really adventurous, you reach as far as you possibly can and sink as low as you possibly can. Okay, so that's the side one. Now what we're going to have you do is as I squat, I'm going to rotate in front of my lead leg. So I'm going to lower myself and reach across. Two more. One more. Okay, going to the other side. More. Last one. Great work. Okay. This time we're actively going to sit down into your chair. Okay. We're going to go with a little bit wider stance than what we have just been doing, but your feet are going to stay symmetrical. From here, your arms are going to come up over your head, and we're just going to come out of your chair. See if you can sit back down into your chair and then relax your arms. Okay, so hands go over your head, come off that chair, sit right back down, hands back down to your waist. Okay, you notice going up feels different than coming down. Okay, stay nice and wide with the knees. Okay, and one more time. Very good. While we're sitting in this position, we're going to now stagger our stance. So as we stagger our stance, you're going to have your rear foot, or the foot that's underneath the chair, that heel is going to be off the ground, while your front leg is going to be in front of you, obviously. But what I need you to do is I need you to take your elbow, rotate towards this lead leg, and put your hand on the shoulder of the chair if you need to, and then stand up so that you rotate and your nose stays right between your second and third toe. And then you're going to lower yourself to the chair and come back. So we rotate, stand up, rotate, come back down. Rotate, stand up, rotate, come back down. This is an excellent way to start to teach the body to push from the glute, the big seated muscle here, to drive you off the ground. Okay, let's switch feet. If you have a different set of feet, you can switch your feet out. Front foot's in front of you. Back foot, remember the heel's off the ground. I'm going to rotate my elbow towards my knee, it's coiling my spine, and then drive myself up off the ground. Right back down. Right. Head stays over top of your foot. Two more. Last one. Great stuff. Okay, let's move into a little bit of recovery. So we've done a whole bunch of squatting exercises. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to stretch you out a little bit, counter strain for some of the movements that we just did based on, well, we've done some rotation stuff of the spine. Let's start there. So let's counter strain that a little bit. Take both hands, reach them across your chair. Lift the chest as vertical as you can. You're just going to hold that position. Take a nice deep breath. Long exhale. Breathe in deep. And move to the other side. Okay. Straighten yourself back up. Take your arms all the way to the ceiling. Reach them back so that your biceps are behind your ears. Reach and tickle the clouds. From here, we're going to take some deep breaths. Again, try to think about expanding that spine as tall as you can. Feel your ribs expand from the belly all the way up to the ribs as you reach up. Hold. Let it out slowly. Okay. Now we've done a bit of breathing. Let's go into a stretch here. So put one foot further forward than the other, toe pointed up, long through the spine. Just lean forward till you feel stretching that hamstring. Nice controlled breathing. This time, try to breathe the whole time, keeping your lips closed, and breathe only through your nose. Okay, let's go to the other side. Toe pointed up towards your nose, nice and wide through the shoulders. Lean into it just a bit. Hang on there. Hold on to that stretch. Close the mouth. Breathe only through the nose. Very good. Now we can sit back into your chair a little bit. We're going to try to bring your opposite ankle up onto your knee. Just like you're crossing your knee over to sit like a sophisticated gentleman. And in this position, your toe is going to be at a 90 degrees to your shin. Knee down. Again, breathe in through the nose only. Okay, then we're going to switch. One more time. Okay, and then the final stretch that we're gonna do, you can do it standing or kneeling. I'm gonna demonstrate both. Well, our goal here is to counter strain the front of the hip because we did lots of folding today, so that's shortening this tissue. What we're gonna do is you're gonna try and bring your hips square to my chair here. And I wanna try and keep my heel flat on my back foot, turn my toes so it's straight forward. I'm just gonna lift my ribs up and my abdomen up. That's gonna get a little bit more of a stretch here. I'm gonna take the same side arm as my trail leg, reach to the sky, try to drive my palm through the clouds. It's gonna get a nice long stretch here. Then I'm gonna take my chin towards the ceiling. Okay, so you get a nice stretch into that superficial front line, they call it. Connects the top of the foot all the way to the jaw. We're gonna do the same thing here. Take that trail leg, try to keep it as straight as possible, toe pointing straight forward. Lift as big and tall as I can. Reach up to the seat. Okay, the kneeling version of this, and the benefit to doing the kneeling version is that the foot's not involved, but that force is going to go a little bit to the front of the hip a little bit quicker. So because the foot's involved, the tissues below my kneecap aren't being stretched here. So now that force is starting from the ground, from right underneath my patella, all the way up into the hip. Same thing, I'm just going to lean forward a little bit, drive that palm up. Then my chin towards the ceiling also. So if you want to really figure out how connective tissue connects, you'll see the difference just by me leaning forward here, my eyes going forward, and then as soon as I take my chin as high to the ceiling as I can, you're going to feel a greater stretch on your hip. Okay, let's do the other side. Lean into it. Lean into it. Arm comes up. I'm going to go with my palm rather than my fingertips here. You know, lean into it a little bit more so I can get a little bit more stretch here. And then ease off slowly. There you go. This is my world's favorite stretch right here. Most people, there's some exercise called the world's greatest stretch. This is Johnny's favorite stretch, this one here. And I think it's one that if we're sitting for long periods of time, this is one we should probably be doing the most often. Just help unload how sticky the front of the hip gets from us being in seated position for long periods of time. So this one just feels like heaven to me. All right, there's your 3 little doses, 21 minutes. I think we went a little bit over, 22 and a half, I think it was.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Small price to pay for feeling great.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we have a couple minutes here after the session here with John to ask any questions. So before I turn to look at a couple that came in on YouTube, we've got Carol and Carolyn on the call here. I'll let you guys, if you come to studio, you get first dibs on questions. That's the rule. So does anybody have a question? Carol, I saw your mute come off.
Oh, sure. Well, I don't know if it's much a question as it is a testimony. A few weeks ago, Carolyn had commented how all her aches and pains were going away because she was doing this so regularly, and I was convicted. And so I am trying to do that. And I, from your YouTube page, have just kind of gone and watched some of the old 21-minute sessions from Mondays. And so that's been real helpful. But, you know, I want you all to make a living as well. So what should be the next step for me to be able to be motivated and engaged and not skip a day and not have to hunt through YouTube videos?
Yeah, John, you could probably give a recommendation on, I think probably joining one of our protocols would probably be your best bet, right? To kind of get that sort of 30-day intensive experience and then we can get you onto the platform after that. But I always recommend starting with one of those protocols. But John, what would you sort of, maybe you have a couple questions for Carol before you recommend anything?
Yeah, like the protocols we use kind of as a learning experience, right? So it's kind of like an educational tutorial, give you a little more deeper background into why I'm doing some of these things. When you follow along, it's wonderful because you feel good. But if you're someone that really craves an understanding or knowing and a know-how of why we do these things in certain orders and why we kind of geek out on the science bit, then the educational part of the protocols is outstanding. Even though like the one that I recently did, which is on back pain, even though specifically it's about the back, which kind of is the vast majority of all our pains kind of stem in the back as a population anyways. I don't know if you knew this. I looked it up. 1.55 billion people on this planet have back pain. So there's a pretty good chance you or somebody you know is suffering from back pain at some point. But in addition to us trying to solve the problem of back pain, you're going to learn a lot about, well, where does pain come from? What is pain? Physiologically, psychologically, and socially, why are these things happening to us? And then you'll learn a little bit more about the systems that we've put in place at Seven Movements. Like, how is it that I've taken, 30 years of me doing this and studying this and then finding systems of how I teach it to people so that they can kind of empower themselves. So while the programs are all awesome, the one benefit of the protocol is that it's going to teach you why we're doing the things that we're doing. And then that way you can kind of go on a self-guided discovery of what's most valuable to me once I get on the platform. Like, where do my aspirations take me as to what programs I'm going to sign up for and what movements I'm going to do, right? Because we have one that's a 30-day, or pardon me, a equipment-free movement protocol, which is driven around connecting the habit of moving frequently throughout the day, as we like to do, but also connecting how am I feeling, and then how do I give myself the type of exercise that matches my feeling, right? And so those automatically just get drip fed to you based on your report card of how you're feeling that day. So we're attaching movements to how you feel, and what's your energy like, what's your lifestyle like, what's your how are you feeling physically, how are you feeling mentally and emotionally. When we connect all those things together, then now we add another layer of dimension to movement, which is, am I giving myself the right dose at the right time and for the right reason?
Yeah, so Carol, to just tag along on that, like I think our recommendation would probably be like we do sell a $25 a month membership to our platform, and that's all our self-guided programs on there. So you can get all your daily movement snacks and that kind of stuff. But I think where I would really suggest you start, and we suggest that everyone starts, is with one of our 30-day protocols. And maybe the back pain one would be good because you can learn a lot on that. But the way they work is you get a daily email. So you get a reminder. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to move. You get a little, what we call a micro lesson. So John teaches like just a concept or a lesson, and then a daily movement snack on top of that. So then it kind of just gets you in the rhythm. And then we usually drive people into that $25 a month membership afterwards because you're a little bit more prepared to guide yourself through all of the different programs on there. From, like John said, we have everything from equipment free stuff to pickleball programs to almost anything you could imagine exists on that platform. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Oh, that all sounds very appropriate. I I know, I know a lot of things about exercise and stretching and all that just because of my background, but there's something more about this that really, it's more efficient, and the outcome seems to be pretty immediate. And so I've appreciated that, and so that's motivating to me.
Awesome. We appreciate you giving us your feedback.
Sure. Thank you. And with my AmFast membership, do I just need to get a hold of y'all how I do some of these things?
Yeah, if you just go, the easiest way to sign up, you can do it on your own. You don't need a prescription or anything at this point. You can go to sevenmovements.com, select whichever protocol you'd like, just right off our website. And then you could, I think there's like a code in your AmFast community. I'm
Oh.
sorry, I can't remember it offhand,
I'll
but
look.
it gives you a little discount for being an AmFast community member as well.
Sounds good. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
You're welcome. Awesome. Um, Carolyn, I see you're on as well. I just want to give you an opportunity before I jump over to the YouTube questions.
Yes, well, what I'm doing is passing on what I'm learning from John. I was just visiting a 90-year-old friend with a stiff sore back, and I showed her the loosening up exercises that you were doing, that you were showing here. You know, the and then so, but I find myself doing is passing on what I'm learning from John.
Amazing.
That's awesome. That's the
Yeah,
best.
just
you-
about everybody my age is stiff and sore, so
Yeah.
they're happy to learn their solution.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, that kind of stuff gets John excited for sure when we hear that it's being passed along and they're just little tricks and little things that you can kind of share with people in your circle of influence that'll make them feel better using movement. So grateful for you sharing that with your people. John's being attacked by mosquitoes or something.
Yeah.
One more question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as I've gone through the videos, I've done, all the neck stretching, and you always have us test up and down and side to side and dump your water out of your ears. And I get all that and I do the rub and scrub, but my side to side and my dump water out of my ears is still pretty painful. And so is there anything I'm
painful
missing?
In the motion itself,
Yeah, the end range is painful.
end range. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you can do is start to go to some of the small little regions behind the neck. If you landmark the mastoid process, right, which is, I don't know if you guys can see, you see like right behind my ear there.
Right.
Okay. So what you can do is you can block that with your thumb. Okay. So as I tilt there, I'm going to block it and you'll start to feel it start to feel a little bit rigid. And then once you kind of get in there, get your thumb down and around that ridge. And you're just going to work in with your thumb point in and around that ridge. And then what you'll do is you should be able to feel that once you take that, you're going to have a little bit more range of motion now that you added a little compression and fluid in and around that point. Side flexion is often inhibited by the big muscles that run off the side of the head, called the scalene muscles. So those often get involved, but they get adhered also to the mastoid, which comes down here, the sternocleidomastoid, which this is where that rotation element comes in, right? So getting to where there's a common attachment, which is the mastoid, and getting around the mastoid can sometimes help. So it's like a half moon here, right? You get around that little horseshoe that's right in there and just work your thumb all in through there, then that should create a little bit of extensibility on that side. The other thing that I like doing is with the neck is just add some slow, subtle motion to it. We tend to always want to get to end range of motion. And sometimes it's just adding a little bit of elasticity to that tissue first.
Okay.
And then, so that's going proximal. And then distal, what we want to do is we want to get into these muscles that are like right along the collarbone, right? So then I can just take my finger and I can kind of try and glide that finger around where the scalenes attach. They attach deeper to the collarbone, but the fibers of the tendons run alongside and attach to the collarbone. And then you go ahead and you try that. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that. Immediately that helped me. And I got a nice little crack in there, right? Then I got to go, all right, well, I got to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to work this one. I'm going to work in here so that it feels like it's a little bit more balanced, right? And so a lot of it is, it's a terrible term, but I like to use the term like search and destroy, right? I'm just searching for what is this feedback happening to me while I do this? Like when I scrub across this and I get a little bit of friction and heat down into this area, did that improve my motion? And if the answer is yes, then I'm like, hey, that was a good strategy for today, right? But you might find like, oh, I did this and it didn't improve it very much. All right, well, maybe I just need a static stretch, right? Maybe I just need to stretch it as opposed to massaging it, right? So that's usually the trick that I do is I go to where are these common attachments? What happens when I drive fluid to them first? And then how did that improve the quality of my motion? I think we tend to be like pretty rigid in our gaze. So our head's always in the similar position. It's not moving around a lot. So I tend to think that it's probably doesn't need to be stretched. It probably just needs a little bit fluid just to hydrate the tissues that help assist in moving the head, you know, and or any part of the body for that matter. And then also is to try to get this collarbone moving. So again, we're fixed, our hands are kind of still here, and the collarbone isn't gliding well. So when we scrub the collarbone, scrub the sternoclavicular ligament, so right where it comes down and attaches to the sternum, I get in there and then I start to glide that arm in lots of different vectors, directions, right? Then that collarbone's going to want to move better. And then when that moves better, the neck moves better. So those are kind of the key ones I go to is go around the head, get around the mastoid, get on the collarbone, get on the sternum, and then retest it and see how it feels.
And you don't really need to do much with the traps.
I mean, you can, like the trap itself is a big beefy muscle, right? But it's subservient to what it attaches to. So the connective tissue that runs obviously through the trap. So you got your muscle, but what gives muscle its shape is the connective tissue and where it goes and where it travels to and anchors to, right? So yeah, you can compress that for sure and it'll make it feel a lot better. It might improve the motion also, but I tend to start where they attach. So back of the head, point to the shoulder, down along the ribs, and then all up along the spine, right? Your left trapezius is shaped kind of like in a T shape, right? And then you do the same thing on the right side, but I kind of go to where they attach to on those points first, and then see if that improves the quality of it. It's like if you take an elastic band and you twist the ends, like what happens is really taut or really, really tight, right? If you unwind one end, then you got more elasticity to it, right? So that's why I go to those anchor points first and hydrate them as a first point of reference.
Okay. And I'll just bet this is all in your class, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, and the other piece of this, like we sometimes forget to talk about because John and I are so used to it being like, hey, like movement snacking component of this. If you can do this every hour for a few days in a row, that's when you'll actually start feeling and seeing significant results. Because quite often we do that stuff, we'll do it once a day and it feels better for 10 minutes and then we go back. So the more you can snack those little strategies throughout your day, especially when you're in positions that are causing some sort of discomfort, you're going to get faster results from them.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, the real power in the pain relief is that I'm improving that communication to the brain more often. And then the brain is like, well, there's no threat here anymore. I've got full range of motion. I don't have to send a warning signal to the body saying, hey, oh, don't move your head in that direction because you're jamming a joint up, right? So if you do it more often, then you get better communication through the sensory system because you're rubbing the tissues around there. So you get better communication directly to the nervous system. And then the best part is you're hydrating it. So the joint has to move better. So there's no need for a pain response, right? Yeah.
Makes sense. Perfect. Thanks.
Amazing. Yeah. Great questions today, Carol. Thank you for sharing. I know there's a lot of people that probably have similar type questions. So these are great. Thanks for coming, everybody, today. As you all know, that we have Pain-Free Movement Monday on Mondays at 12 Pacific time. Come move with us. Bring your friends. Tell your friends to come and join us. And if they'll come in studio, I'm looking at you, YouTube people. Come join us in studio. John likes to see the smiling faces on the Zoom call here with us. So stop hiding out on YouTube on us. But we still will continue to broadcast to YouTube as well. So everybody have a fantastic day. Dan's going on an Alaska cruise tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. And we will see you all. Yeah, thanks,
Well
buddy.
deserved, buddy. You deserve a vacation.
Thanks, man. All right. Well, everybody have a fantastic day, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.